Hey everybody, it's Book of Katherine, and welcome to Freedom Walk. Who knows what the heck it is, because it's been so long. For me, it seems like forever. So because I had that Freedom Week, and then I had one of the bad spells, but this time the bad spell was really, really bad. Because my SI joint, I understand that now, has been wearing out, and also my L4 and L5. I guess I haven't really told you guys about that. Maybe we should talk about what we do know is bad on my health. So I want to talk about Kellyanne Conway and the press events, but I also should probably tell you what's bad about my health. Maybe we'll talk about two things today. It's also fall in that little time that I've been bad. For you guys, it's only like a week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever. For me, it seems like forever and ever when you're just trapped on the ground. It seems like an eternity. So I'm going to try and show you this view. They've cleaned out some brush. I'm going to try and show you the view without showing a house. Like, see if you can see any kind of view. I guess not. Can you see a view without seeing any houses? I don't know. Guess not. Clean out the brush because they're getting ready for winter. Things are done differently around here when it comes to winter. Snow, and trying to get used to snow. So, I was raised military, and so military moves around. So I did have snow growing up. But, by the end, in the 90s, when they shut everything down, we ended up in California. So the end, we had California, and I wasn't used to snow by the time I got out here, which I've kind of really loved it. Okay, so we'll do this view. Isn't this view gorgeous? I'll show you this view. This is some of the colors that have changed already. Maybe you can see this. So can you see that? Like, that's what's happened in this little time, this week and a half. Isn't that glorious? That is absolutely beautiful. And see how the ground, it doesn't even pick it up. My camera doesn't pick it up, but it's like super, super orange. Isn't that beautiful in there? So like the trail branches off there or whatever. So really, really beautiful. I have not been able to go up that because, hey, that requires me to go uphill. I can only walk flat. I'm actually really struggling now that everything's falling down. I'm like, now I know why it's called fall, because I'm hearing everything fall in the woods, and it's like when you keep hearing everything, like the cats are freaking out when we try to take them out because they're like, because everything's falling. And I finally understand why it's called fall, because everything falls down in the fall. Acorns are falling down, branches are falling down, everything's falling down in the fall. Everything, and I can't walk on the ground anymore because there's branches on the ground. There's acorns on the ground in the fall, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's called fall, and oh, that's why it's called spring, because everything goes up, all the flowers come up, everything comes up for air. And I'm like, oh, I never put that together. Maybe you guys put it together, but I never put it together. I certainly never put it together. There's no songs or anything anymore. It's just fall. We just think, oh, all the colors change. Fall, summer. They always associate that with colors. And spring colors, like the colors on my lips are spring. They always associate with fashion colors, more like. That's what we associate it with. And I never associated it with what happens because we don't have seasons in California, and probably because online so much all the time. But wait till you see this. Wait till you see the canyon here. Let me tell you, like, it's a different world now. It ain't the green wonderland that we saw. Like, oh gosh, it doesn't even pick it up. It's all picking up the green. Maybe my camera just does green or whatever, but it is like orange. It's turning orange. It's fall. That picks it up more. But it is going orange, and let me tell you, everything is falling down. Like, the trail is just covered. I don't know, can it even cover up that yellow? Will it even pick up how yellow that is? Like how yellow that tree is? Do you see how bright yellow that tree is? It is really, like, it's some serious, it's not picking up how yellow that is. I'm sorry, I just have my little phone camera, so, but I was just like, when I finally got out, which was this weekend, I was like, everything's different. What just happened? Like, everything's different. I'm getting used to it. We've been here for a lot of years now, but I've been locked up inside. Like, I did this video, which I had a trash, and I was outside, and it was kind of funny because it was getting dark, and I was like, why is it so dark? Like, why is it getting so dark? It's really early in the day for it getting dark. Like, I filmed it this weekend. I was like, it's so dark. Why is it getting so dark? That's so very odd. It's getting dark. And then it started to rain. And you can see this look of shock on my face, like, oh, it's starting to, oh, rain's a possibility. because I forgot rain exists, that rain can happen in the middle of the day. Just the whole concept of rain totally lost on me. I've been indoors too long. I forgot the clouds can darken. That might mean rain can happen and fall on your head. And maybe I should check the weather before I go outside for a walk, which, I probably should have thought of today. Like, I should probably check the weather today, but I didn't do that. I just walked outside because I'm like, hey, it's been so glorious. Does that pick up any of the colors of this glorious thing? Now it's just, apparently my phone just picks up green. Well, maybe that's sustainable development. They just want you to pick up green. Well, because it is just one big orange. Wow, I guess it'll just have to all turn. Is this glorious, like, not orange, but it's like gold. It's gold. It's this like rainforest and gold right now. Gold. Just glorious. And I'm noticing that too with the colors when I do color palettes. I'm just rambling about everything, aren't I? So much for a freedom walk. So maybe I don't know what I should talk to you about, because I'm in the canyon. I'm supposed to talk about something big. I don't know. I guess I've been in too much pain. I'm sorry. Gosh, I hope I don't have to trash this one. Alrighty. Well, I guess, so my chronic pain's really bad. Like, the only time I move, I put it on camera during the day. If you look at the chronic pain scale, not the happy, sad faces, but if you look at the chronic pain scale, like the comparative pain scale that the Mayo Clinic puts out, and actually read the descriptions on that, which I highly recommend you do if you're in any kind of chronic pain. They talk about, like, comparative to a bee sting, or comparative to a migraine, or, okay, and it'll limit your mobility this much. If you're in a certain amount of pain, it can limit your mobility. It can limit your ability to think. It can incapacitate you. And it can make you beg for death, honestly. My chronic pain made me really understand why it was cruel of them to take away a person's right to die. I think that was a huge, awful thing they did, to take away a person's right to die. That's just like, I can't believe they took away a person's freedom. In the United States of America, other countries allow it. That's really infringing on a person's right to life. A person has a right to choose. They have control over their bodies. They say, a woman has a right to choose her own body. What happens to her own body, right? When it comes to abortion, she has the right to choose over her own body. But then, when it comes to their right to die, all of a sudden, they say, oh no, a person cannot choose when they die. That, to me, is incomprehensible after the pain I've suffered. Not that I would have chosen to die, because they never pronounced me and said, hey, you're going to die, or this is, something that you will not survive. But now I know the kind of pain that people suffer. That's cruel of anyone to tell them that, hey, you're just going to have to live with it and you're going to have to suffer that. That's just telling a person you have to stay in Guantanamo. The amount of pain a body can inflict in you, it's no different than being cut with a knife. Your body can do that to you, the kind of pain that you can suffer. It doesn't feel any different. I don't feel a needle when they take blood from me. I don't even know the nurse does it now. I'm that immune to pain. I can handle so much pain. And it is incredible, our nerves. We have so many nerves in our body, and every nerve can fire off. And there's so many different types of pain nerves, and so many different types of pain that you can feel. I had to map it out for one of my friends once. She wanted me to map out my pain for her. And I had like 5 or 7 different charts of the different types of pain that I feel. And I even narrowed some down, and I've narrowed down, this is inflammation, and this is this kind, and this is this kind, this is caused by this, I've narrowed down what causes each. And I'm lucky because I'm a dancer and I can carve that out. But like, okay, this is some of it's caused by my brain, some of it's caused by brain damage because of the severe concussion. But your body can do some serious damage to you can tell a person who's in pain, they swell up and they look white. I mean, you can see me in some of it now because it's bad down here in my lower back. The SI is really bad. It can take away your ability to speak. It can take away your ability to move. And to tell a person, hey, you have a life-threatening illness, and, you know, they do it for cancer patients and stuff like that. But I see it now when they say, oh, a woman has the right to control her body. She can choose an abortion. I see the profit over life of it now. I'm like, why one side and then you can't choose to die? I understand the profit model of it now, understanding sustainable development now. I understand the profit side of it, understanding Bayer and BASF in Germany, the German industrial complex behind it, the movements behind it. Because abortions, even though they have the state fund it, they charge women $1,000 for each one. But on the other side of it, if a person or a patient chooses to die, then they lose that profit, the bills go away. But if they stay on all the monitors, it still racks up the bill and they can take their house and that house goes to the banks. I understand that now. I can see the profit model behind it of taking away a person's right to die. They say, I see all the invasions into a person's freedom now. I see the profit model behind it. And the invasion into our freedoms, we just don't think that we're free anymore. We have such a peasant mindset now. We don't think we have a right to our freedoms. We don't think we have a right to our bodies. We think that we're dumb and we're stupid and we can't think for ourselves. We have this fear of thinking for ourselves. How dare we think for ourselves? How dare we get outside of it? And we're scared of nominating or electing someone that is brave or strong enough to actually run for office if they're just a regular person like us. Because what if they're too dumb or stupid? You know, it doesn't matter that they've been through life and they know the system and they have a good instinct of what's right and wrong. But hey, the other guys know the big players, right? But that's the problem. They know the big players. They're comfortable with them. That's the problem. You know, we give these politicians a rating of 10%. We trust them 10%, and yet we still vote for them. We still vote for them, and that's what's really interesting to me is that our voting rate, only 10% of people vote anymore. I think that in America, when only 10% of the population votes anymore, I think that shows that the elections are rigged. It shows that the elections are rigged or that the announcements are rigged because people know that whatever they voted for isn't actually being announced anymore. They know they don't trust it anymore. They know they're trying to vote for people. Like, I don't think Dianne Feinstein would still be in. So many of her people have come out now and said that she's raked them over the coals. They don't trust her anymore. No one's a big fan of her in California, and yet she has the biggest office in D.C. And if people have seen that, when a politician's in office a long time, you know, too many people start distrusting you. They don't gain trust in a politician. They lose trust in a politician. So why are they still in office? You know, that's why a president gets changed out, because they start racking up all problems. Anyway, so my chronic pain is really bad. And it's getting better for sure with the procedures. Here's what we do know about my health. There's a lot we don't know about my health. I saw a CranialSacral lady recently, and CranialSacral's helped me a lot. That's the reflex, the restorative massage. And so great, she put the 2 fingers to the back of my neck. She's really highly trained. And she just instantly went, she didn't even know any of my problems. I hadn't even gone over them with her. But I've known, like if I go to someone really good, I've known to just let them go, like witch practitioners, just to let go and not say anything. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say any of my background or anything. And they just instantly went to my bad parts. They knew about my rib cage, knew about my shoulder, went to each part of my spine, went to all the places I'd had injections, and just worked on each of them and loosened everything up. And the thing is that, you know, I walk away and the problem is that they're just so stunned at how bad I am. I'm always like the worst they've seen, and I try to shield you guys from that, I guess. So I guess I should try and tell you, like, what we do know, because there's a lot we don't. What we do know is that I have injuries in every section of my spine. When I rolled 11 times, I had objects in the car, so plates smashed into the base of my neck. The middle of my spine snapped, and I couldn't walk when I got out of the car. When they did the MRI after the third accident, and my head went through the side of the window, it wasn't just the base of my neck. It turned out that I had really, really bad in my C7, my thoracic, my L4, my L5, and then my S1. So that's why I can do like a body roll, but you kind of see the body roll kind of do this like pop, 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 because there's these breaks in my spine that don't move. So you see this break, 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 break. It doesn't do a smooth body roll. I used to be known as like the wiggly dancer. I'd have this smooth body roll. I don't have a smooth body roll anymore. It can't smoothly go through the spine. It has this pop, 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 pop. There are certain sections of my spine that move and certain sections that don't. And when I stop, it's because I can't move my spine anymore. It needs to stop, and I had to calm down from the pain and just let it stay still. Kind of let the inflammation drain down. And I'm learning that my hips are bad. I know when I went to my blood lady, like my knee was really bad. We know that. And she tried to move my hip, and I screamed in the office. The loudest I've ever screamed in an office is when she tried to move my hip socket. So we know the hips are bad, and we know the SI is bad. Now the SI makes sense because I did all that dancing. And the dancing moves your hips. And then I also taught high school. And then I owned a storefront. And all of that requires standing, sitting, up and down, side to side moving. And then I did Valley, and I did consulting. And all my consulting, I stood up and did speeches and talks and walked around, sat and moved down and up and up. None of my consulting was like sit in a chair and sit back. I mean, I did in the beginning of the consultation, then I did at the end of the consultation. But in between, it was all talking and training everybody. Because I love standing up and talking, and that's all I ever did. I love standing up and talking. I did big rooms, small rooms, huge rooms, arenas or whatever, and I just loved it. But it's all standing, and that works your SI joint. I work that SI joint. If you watch my dance movements on those stretch machines, man, watch what my legs are doing and think about that SI joint. But I guess it's not just the SI joint, is it? I guess it's also the hips. And if I'm honest about it, and I think about it, you know, most of my competitors, a lot of them have had hip replacements. And I don't think I'm going to do that. They've done x-rays of my hips and stuff. I don't think any hip replacements are coming. But they probably need injections. That's where a lot of inflammation is. When you feel in the back, in my lower back, where I hook it up on raise up at my legs at night or whatever, you should feel my spine and 2 hip sockets. And you don't. You feel this wall. You just feel a wall back there. Everything feels like bone fused together. You don't feel a separation out at all. Everything feels fused together, the hip bones. And on my right side, whatever's happening with my head, this side of my head hurts all the time. It's always firing off. And when I say I'm tired on my Twitter, God, I don't feel like talking about any of this. All right, so that's about all I can talk about. Because I'm just going to cry, and that's why I don't talk about how bad I am. Because it's really hard to face. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to show the other side, but that's about all I can handle. That's why I love this feed, because I get to be the best of me. I get to be the best of me every day. Not say I pretend to be healthier than I am, I get to be as healthy as I can be every day. As healthy as I can be on Twitter, use the best of me on Twitter and the best of me on my feed. And that is the gift that you give me. But to go into the dark, which I have to do sometimes with the CranialSacral and have them touch every dark place and remember how bad it really is. It's as if I got put in one of those car crushers, you know? And they just kind of crushed my body. And I just got compressed somehow. And I'm just kind of blowing back up slowly. And every time I come out and every time I stretch, and every time I go on Twitter and use my mind and get on that stretch machine and put music on, I just push out and expand, and it grows my brain, it grows my central nervous system, and it grows, and I'm just like regrowing out and just demanding. And you demand that of me, and I demand that of me, and together we're this incredible team that just demands that I grow again, grow back, insist that I become healed again. And by some miracle, I have doctors again that are willing and somehow see that. I don't know how, but they see it. Like one of my doctors said that they were driving along on the road and they were thinking of me. I don't know how I got a doctor. I don't know how I got lucky enough to have a doctor who would deign to think of me in their car. God, how lucky did I get? How lucky. I mean, not that I didn't search, not that we didn't work, not that we didn't say no to a doctor and move on to another doctor, not that we didn't keep moving around, not that we don't have to drive 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get to them, not that it isn't painful, not that we don't have to have a car bed to get to them, but still so lucky to have a doctor who would deign to think of me in their car thinking, how can I get her better? And then thinking, I'm going to make her champion dancer again. I'm going to get her there. She was thinking that. She was thinking that before I could walk again. That's why you hear me thanking her so much. Because I remember walking out going, okay, look, lady, I just want to walk again. I don't know about dancing again now. Like, I guess I was thinking in my head, I was like, I don't think you knew how I danced. You guys are starting to get an idea of how I danced. Like, Despacito is really hard for me to watch because I had been telling my body to do all these things, and I got in the house and I was like, oh my God, I did all these things. I was sobbing from the pain, but I was so excited to watch it because I did all these things. I told my spine to do all these things, and it did it. It did it. It did it. And then I watched the video and I was like, what the hell? What the hell is that? What the hell happened? Like, my body didn't do anything I told it to. I didn't do it. Didn't go anywhere. It didn't do anything. Why? Why isn't it working? Why isn't it? And all I saw was this 90-year-old body. It worked from like here up, like here. I'm like, oh, my shoulders are kind of going. But it did like 40% of what I was like, what the hell is that? And I was just like, oh. It was such a crushing blow, and I knew, by the way I was sobbing, that I pushed it too hard. I knew that. I was like, don't do it again. I said there are certain songs that I don't do, but I was hurting so bad that day. I was like, you gotta do something that can get that to move when I was hurting so bad. And I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that song. I should have done a much slower song to get that to move. Maybe not. I don't know. But I've never cried that hard. I've never cried that hard. Well, I've cried that hard from pain, but I've never cried that hard after a stretch song. Oh my God. I was like, oh, I willingly put myself in that position. I've cried much harder over pain. And people in severe chronic pain know that I have cried much, much harder. Much, much harder. I have lost my mind and gone dark over pain. Much harder. I really try to keep it in for my loved ones. I really try to keep it in and not show anything. Because they can't do anything about it. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. Why put it on them? There's nothing they can do. I try to use my words as best I can. I really try. And so you just scream in your head. You just scream. I guess the biggest thing I would say about chronic pain is that a lot of people just put up with pain. I don't know what it is in our society, but they just go along and they don't do anything about their chronic pain. And I would say that that's the dumbest thing you can do. You have to get it treated. You can't, or you end up like me and you don't do anything and you get close to death and you could die. You have to keep moving. People are scared to get procedures. And procedures today are just like shots. They really are. That's where they start. You start there before you go into surgery. So you start at procedures. I mean, obviously you start at medication. You start at medicine or whatever, and people are scared to do medicine or ibuprofen and all that stuff. But you have to keep your body moving no matter what. If you start doing wraps, I mean, some people do wraps, and that's okay. There are great wraps today. There are great like meniscus wraps and stuff like that, meniscal tear wraps. There's a lot of new wraps out there. But I say get wraps in stores. Stores are way better than the ones on, you can't do Amazon. Oh my God, you have to go into stores and do wraps today. They have terrible ones at Amazon. They figured out our trick of doing bestsellers. They figured that out. Now you can pay to be on a bestseller list. I'm wearing out. And that's the one bad thing is the SI is going out. And so I'm wearing out. Ugh. Anyway. So, but that's the good news is that we're learning what's actually injured on me is the SI. The SI really is the worst place. But there are other things like the shoulder, look at that. Like I can still do that after that thing, like that stayed. And that is a big deal. That's a really big deal. That stayed with me. That's a big freaking deal when they were locked up. You know? So who knows why? Who knows what did it? Who knows how I got there? I get to the neurologist and they just say, we don't know, but it looks like you're getting better. Stick with it. And it looks like the plan is working. And sometimes that's just what you have to do is the body's so complicated that sometimes you just have to find a good plan instead of good answers. And you have to stick with the plan. My last neurologist just said, focus on wellness. And that's what made us get the arch. They're like, get a pattern before you go to bed at night. Get an actual routine before you go to bed at night. And that's when we started actually doing the routine of setting me up and hanging my legs up at night. Because we didn't focus on that. We were so focused on what's wrong with me that we weren't focused on taking like patterns at night, like patterns during the morning, during the day, an actual wellness plan, like a wellness plan of like daily care. At some point when you have chronic pain, you have to start paying attention to what your wellness plan is of comfort during the day. And we don't do that anymore. I don't know why. So anyway, that's the best I have for today. I think that's the most I can share before I fall over. So I hope you saw some of the fall colors. I hope that helped. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I feel like the walk's going to be shorter now that the SI is bad, now that it's colder out. So, but you can see it in my tapes, like I'm like, oh, my lower back's going out. Like that used to not be the reason why. It used to be because I was starting to get towards an episode. And like, I'm not even close to an episode yet. An episode's like way off. I can feel it. I can feel it in my arms. I can feel where the episode is. I can feel it in my head. Not even close to that. It's the SI that's stopping it now. I'm just really bad. Ugh, I hate talking about it. But I know that's why I started my channel. No one wants to talk about being sick. It sucks. All right. I love you guys so much. Peace out. Have a great time. Here, subscribe. Here are some videos. And then please donate down below so we can be equal members of a team. And just $1 a month, and I think it's October now, so if you've donated last month, just $1 this month, or just do the $12 and be done with 2019. Yeah, make it easy. So it's like 1/12 of Netflix. All right, bye you guys.